Hello everyone. Today I will share with everyone some extremely simple but extremely beautiful tips for cutting watermelon, helping you not only easily divide the watermelon, but also have an attractive, neat presentation suitable for the whole family or when guests come over. First, let's briefly introduce watermelon. This is a popular fruit in the summer, has a sweet and cool taste, contains a lot of water, and is extremely popular on hot days. However, if you don't know how to cut it skillfully, the watermelon can easily be crushed or not look beautiful when displayed on a plate. Therefore, today, I will try 3 simple but effective ways to cut watermelon. Just need a sharp knife and a little ingenuity. I choose a large watermelon with a shiny green skin, even color, and it feels firm and heavy when picked up. That is a sign that the melon is juicy and ripe. In addition, I also pay attention to choosing a fruit with a dark yellow spot on the bottom. This is usually the side of the fruit that is in contact with the ground when ripe, indicating that the melon is sweet and delicious. You can also tap the skin lightly. If you hear a clear pop sound, it proves that the melon's flesh is firm, not mushy or crumbly. Wash the melon. Before cutting, I wash the melon under the tap. Melons grown in the ground often have dust, mud, or agricultural chemicals on their surface. I gently rub the melon skin with my hands and can use a soft brush or damp cloth to scrub it cleaner. After washing, I place the melon on a cutting board and use a paper towel to dry the entire surface, making sure that when I cut, water does not drip onto the cutting board, causing it to be slippery or unhygienic. Once everything is ready, we move on to the most exciting part: tips for cutting melons quickly, beautifully, restaurant standard. Tip 1. Cutting watermelon in a diamond shape, quick and beautiful. After cutting the watermelon in half, I set one half aside for later use. With the remaining half, we will perform the first tip, cutting the watermelon in a diamond shape. A simple way, but the finished product is extremely beautiful, suitable when you want to display it on a plate, to entertain guests or bring to a party. First, I put half of the watermelon face down on the cutting board, the red flesh side facing down to better secure it. This helps the watermelon not roll and creates a solid support when cutting. Then, I use a knife to cut off the top and bottom of the watermelon, about 1 to 2 centimeters, to create 2 flat ends, thanks to which it will look more beautiful and even when presented on a plate. Next, I cut the watermelon into diagonal slices at an angle of about 45 degrees. These slices do not need to be too thin or too thick, just right for easy picking and eating. After finishing the first cut, I continue to cut another layer diagonally in the opposite direction. The result is that we will get diamond-shaped melon pieces, regular, sharp, and very beautiful. The diamond shape has the advantage of being easy to hold, easy to eat, does not fall apart when picking up, and at the same time creates a very attractive visual effect when arranged on a white plate. Finally, I arrange the melons on a plate, alternating or in a long row as desired. The red color of the melon stands out among the green skin, creating a fresh, vibrant feeling, very suitable for hot sunny days or weekend parties. This is one of the fastest ways to cut melons while still ensuring aesthetics and convenience when eating. No need to use your hands to pick up each piece because it has been neatly divided. Tip 2. Separate the pellet. Cut the melon small without breaking it. After completing the first tip, I now continue to use the remaining half of the melon to perform the second tip. A way to cut the melon to keep the piece intact, easy to hold, less sticky, and very suitable for children or the elderly. First, I cut the remaining half of the melon in half, creating 2 smaller pieces for easy manipulation. Then, I place one piece of melon face down on the cutting board so that the red flesh is facing down, and the white flesh and green skin are facing up. This makes it easier to observe and control the knife more accurately in the next step. Next, I use a sharp and pointed knife, preferably a pointed knife for easy access. I make a vertical cut from head to tail along the edge of the skin, cutting close to the green skin, but not cutting deep into the red flesh. Important note, do not cut too hard. If you accidentally cut too deep, the melon will be punctured, easily broken, and unsightly. After making the first cut, I continued to make another cut on the outside of the peel, creating a small strip of pulp between the two knife cuts. Then, I inserted the tip of the knife between the two cuts and separated the white pulp from the red pulp. When done correctly, you will see the white pulp peel off quite easily, leaving the melon flesh intact without tearing. I did the same with the other side, keeping the white pulp in the middle as a natural handle, helping when cutting into small pieces, the pulp does not fall out or leak too much water. After separating the two sides, I turned the melon over and used the knife to cut into small, even pieces. The handle in the middle makes it easy to pick up the melon without touching the red pulp. Finally, I arranged the melon slices on a plate, forming a vertical row. It looked both beautiful and neat. This method is especially suitable when you need to bring the melons out, go on a picnic, or display them on a tray, while still maintaining hygiene and a beautiful appearance. Tip 3. Cut at a 45-degree angle, quick, beautiful, clean, and eating. After completing the first two tips, I continued to use the last remaining quarter of the melon to perform the third tip. This is a quick and neat way to cut a melon, but the finished product is still beautiful, easy to hold, and easy to eat. First, I cut off the top and bottom of the melon like before. The purpose is to create a flat surface, making the operation easier and more even. Then, I cut the quarter of the melon in half to have two small pieces of melon, easier to hold and handle. Next, I used a knife to cut off a thin part of the white flesh, but this time I cut diagonally at about a 45-degree angle. Why cut at such an angle? Because this cutting method helps the contact area between the skin and the pulp to be smaller, making it easier to pick up the melon. The melon also looks lighter and softer in terms of shape, not too rough or rigidly square. After cutting the skin diagonally, I start to slice the melon into small, even pieces. You can cut it horizontally to make small triangles, or cut it slightly diagonally to make fan-shaped melon pieces, which look very unique. The rest, the remaining half of the melon, I do the same. Cut the skin diagonally, then cut into small pieces. When finished, I arrange the melon pieces on a plate. You can arrange them horizontally or vertically. I arrange them in a circle around the plate. The melon pieces look sharp, fit in the hand, no need for a knife, just hold it and eat it right away. This method is very useful if you don't want to display a large piece, or when preparing melon for small children. Because the pieces are bite-sized, don't stick to your hands, and are especially easy to pick up with a fork or toothpick. So with just one watermelon and a few simple steps, I have shared with you 3 tips for cutting watermelon quickly, neatly, beautifully, that can be easily applied at home. Whether you want to cut it for your family, prepare it for a party, or simply want the watermelon dish to look more eye-catching, these methods will definitely help save time while still being as beautiful as in the store. If you find these tips useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so that I have more motivation to share more great tips. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.